So what I want to do is that why don't we now, let's make our oatmeal.
Okay, let's see how you do this.
Okay, so I want to show you a couple things, but one, how fast we can do this. First thing, why don't I do the oats?
So what do you got here? This is an incredible device. After seeing this now, I don't know why every kitchen doesn't have this.
Can I tell you, it's amazing. And not only that, it's like an art piece of artwork.
Yeah.
It's like a sculpture, you know what I mean? Like, I love having it around. It's gorgeous. It's really well made. It's from Germany. It's called a Quaker, a German oat or groat Quaker.
Wait, so Quaker oats, that could be the name because of this?
Yeah, it is. It is. The oats are actually called groats, and this Quaker flattens them, and then it turns it into Quaker oats. And I'll show you, I mean, it's literally this easy. You can see how flat these are.
The wheat berries are becoming traditional looking groats.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get this to make it bigger, flatter, adjust it in different things. We make muesli. I do like an overnight thing because Arturo loves yogurt. So I do this overnight yogurt thing with goji berries in it, and he wakes up in the morning and eats it. And it's literally this fast.
Because cereal and muesli is my favorite, I think my favorite food.
Oh, good.
Besides raspberries. Raspberries and cereal. I think if I ever go to heaven, they better have some of that up there. Perfect.
So I'm going to add a few more. And once again, this is just, they send it to me in bulk. It's a recycled jar. I put it up in the counter. I can bring it down. And it's one of the fastest breakfasts I make for my family.
And you get this locally from Hayden Flour Mills?
HaydenFlourMills.com. I ordered online and it literally lands on my door.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's great. And ironically, in the summer is when they harvest this, and so you're just getting a fresh batch. I'm gonna do a ratio of 3 to 1. I have, right there is about a cup of oats. So I'm gonna do a cup of water. And then I'm also gonna add coconut milk.
Ooh.
And I have something I'm gonna tell you is I've actually never done this.
You're kind of veganifying it for me.
Well, you know, interesting. I always make it almost always vegan. Occasionally, I add a little bit of butter just to cream it out.
Okay.
But I almost always make the oatmeal vegan. And this goes back to another thing: feeding my son. My son was a vegan until he was 1.
Wow.
So for 6 months, he only ate vegetables, and that was because that's actually the best way to start them off. One of the things that I try to, as much as possible, give him vegan, vegetarian. And then that's like a luxury when we eat, you know, meat and things like that.
Which honestly in the US and is how it used to be, and in other countries like Asia, meat is that luxury.
Yeah.
The human diet mostly is plants until once in a while, but America has tweaked it lately to be...
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it's weird.
So coconut, shredded coconut, unsweetened. This is another thing my wife, and then this is where I generally put my sugar in. So this is the dates.
Are these from McClendon?
These are McClendon dates right here. And I just kind of crush them up randomly. I just let them kind of, my hands are clean.
Just a medjool date.
Yep, exactly. And then I also, for Arturo, in general, a few of these apricots. And what I do is sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I make this at night. And I let this sit here, and so in the morning I turn it on, I have my oats next to it, and I can show you how fast it is. Okay. Over here on the stove.
Let's do it. So before we boil this, you're gonna also add some turmeric?
I'm gonna add some turmeric. You wanna talk about little tools. This tool right here, have you seen this before?
I mean, I can imagine what it does, but I've never seen it before.
So this is actually for ginger and turmeric.
Wow.
And what you can do is literally...
Basically creating a mash or a shredded up.
Yep, shred it up.
Wow. What do you call it?
I don't know. Some lady gave it to me for Christmas.
It looks almost like a phoenix bird.
Yeah, you know, I think that I've actually seen this in a Japanese store.
Oh, I smell the turmeric right now.
Yeah, you smell turmeric. And then once again, we don't want to go too much. But when I add that turmeric, you can see it's already starting to infuse in that.
And so healthy for you, the turmeric.
As much as I can get it in, everywhere. So we have it in the tea, we have an oatmeal, and Arturo, he'll never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's never like, oh, I don't like turmeric, because he just doesn't know.
Sure.
So I put it on the stove. I'm going to let that come to a boil. One other thing I do is add a little pinch of salt. just to kind of, you know, I consider this a sweet breakfast. Even though I try not to use any sugars or honey.
But it's lots of dates and fruit, and the coconut milk is kind of sweet a little bit. And
that, and also we're going to put some fresh strawberries grown here locally.
Oh, nice.
From Duncan Farms. And there's a time period starting right now, and for about another month or so, that we'll have two or three farmers that will give us strawberries and blackberries.
Wow.
And it's so rare in Arizona.
Yeah.
Because I grew strawberries and I spent all this time and I got one little strawberry.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's so rare.
So it's good when you can find them local, even here in Phoenix area, that are growing them well.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just love your setup here. All of your matcha, your salt. It's your kitchen.
This is my tea. This is my salt. I have all kinds of salts, from smoked salt to, you know, crystallized salt. And I like everything really close. Let me show you right in here. This is my spice cabinet. My spices.
Oh, looks great. This is like MTV Cribs with Aaron Chamberlin.
Yeah. And you know, these are my wife's reminders on, this is my vitamin program. These are my things that she tells me to stay away from and tries to help me. But all my spices, I get them in small batches.
I mean, I love these little jars you have. They're just like perfect for spices.
Can I tell you, is that online, there's, I bought those jars and I have hundreds of them because those are the jam jars.
Oh wow, yeah, they're perfect.
So I do those, and
great.
You know, my bay leaves from my yard, Kefir lime leaves.
Awesome.
You know, and just back up. I always have a few grains so that when I forget about Arturo's lunch, I can make him a little grain salad or something.
Yeah.
And that's got some chilies and all my spices. And once again, every year I go through and I clean everything out. I do this in my entire kitchen, and it keeps me organized. So many people, the kitchen is a disaster, and then they're like, I don't like to cook. And it's like, if your kitchen's set up and organized, cooking's we can see right here, starting to, and why I put the coconut and the dried fruit in and the turmeric in early is because it can somewhat rehydrate it back. It'll plump it up a little bit.
So there's no oats in here yet?
No oats. I want it to come to a full boil first. So now it's coming in. You can see it's starting to... I also just kind of let it boil hard right in the beginning, just to make sure that we're going in the right direction. And once again, this change of flavor. Like Arturo loves almond butter and apples, and so sometimes I whisk in a bunch of almond butter and I put raw apples on top of it. Sometimes I make it with just you know, crushed bananas. You know, just I change the flavor just depending on what we have.
How old is Arturo?
2 years old. 2 years old.
And you guys just had a new child as well.
We did, Schaefer. And so he's not eating any food yet, but we're, you know, Schaefer's relying on mom. So what mom's eating is important.
Yeah, sure.
Right now. So I'm gonna let that cook for like 3 to 5 minutes. While that's cooking, what we're gonna do, these are the strawberries.
Those look great.
So you can see I mean, look how big these guys are.
I mean, easily 90+% of what we're making here this morning is locally made or locally grown.
Easily.
Here in town.
Easily. I'm gonna take just 3 of these guys. I'm gonna just kind of randomly cut these guys up. And I'm just gonna, since I have lemon right here, I'm gonna drizzle a little lemon on them. And I'm gonna let those kind of just sit.
Your timing is impeccable, Aaron.
The timing?
Your timing to let certain things marinate, certain things make a broth, certain things bring out the flavors of other things. Just like in the martial arts, if you fight, you have to have good timing. Your timing is very good.
Cooking's a lot about that. You know what I mean? It's about getting things done right and you know, and working
in the proper order.
Proper order, and working in the kitchen for so long, that is important.
What would you say to people who are not professional but want to have better cooking skills? Where should they start with? I mean, videos like this are good, but
here's what that's a great question. What I always tell people, find a few dishes you love and master them.
Oh, okay.
And start with that. So many people I see, they bring this major recipe from this 3-star Michelin chef in France, and they're going to Safeway and they're trying to get all the ingredients, and start simple with the best ingredients possible, Try not to mess them up. And that's where I start. And then once you master a dish, if it's you know, a vegetable lasagna, and you get it down, then you move on to something else. And let's say over your lifetime, every year you build a repertoire of 3 new dishes. You can have a cookbook by the time you come full adult.
Yeah, sure.
And so that's what I do. I think people go over complex. I also tell people spend the money on high quality ingredients is way better than fancy stuff. Don't get too fancy. Yeah. Get high quality basic ingredients. You're going to be much better off than you will.
So right now we're mastering the oatmeal.
So you can see, look at the turmeric color. I mean, have you ever had an oatmeal like that?
No, it's awesome.
So I can see.
And I can smell the coconut.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that right now. It's like you can even see the dates are starting to plump up. That is starting to happen. And I can see the consistency. It's still a little bit wet. And so I'm going to just put it back on for 1 more second. So what I have here right now, you can see, I'm going to let this just kind of set up.
And kind of thicken up a little bit.
Thicken up a little bit. Another thing that I like to do at the end is just add some cold coconut fat. And the reason why I add it at the end is that I don't want this will help like emulsify it.
So let me tell you honestly, a lot of my vegan friends that are getting into the vegan diet, they're trying to go vegan with no fat. But me, I do coconut fat and a lot of fats all the time. So what is the benefit of using the fat like that?
Well, ironically, what I do a lot in like French cooking, that would be butter.
Yeah.
So I mimic it and I look and I say, what can I switch out for?
Sure.
So what I do is that it's a technique more. It's like, they call this monter au beurre. Mount with butter. Okay. We're mounting with coconut oil.
Yeah.
So I take it off, I'm not gonna put it back on. And what I'm trying to do, once again, I'm looking at these things and saying, how do I get those fats in me? How do I get the turmeric into me? How do I get, and so we have coconut shredded, coconut milk, coconut oil. So I got a lot of fat in there. I got the carb, I got my fresh fruit, and that's kind of how...
You got your oats?
The oats, the fruit, you know, you can see it's just melting, and what it's doing is it emulsifies. You can start seeing how it is like a kind of thick...
You just love teasing the camera with that, that food.
So then I just come over.
I was going to say food porn, but maybe I'll keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean.
That was great. Where can folks find out more about you?
They can find more about me at chefaronchamberlin.com. That is my website. That's the
email. Your 2 restaurants you have up and running right now in the Phoenix area are St. Francis and...
the Phoenix Public Market Cafe.
But what are you doing with Tempe?
Tempe Public Market Cafe opens September.
And you already got the location picked up?
Location, we own the building. We started construction last week.
Like Rural and Warner?
Rural and Warner.
That's awesome.
Corner. So
that's going to be dangerous because I'm only 5 minutes from there.
I know. So then I just have this fruit and I'm just kind of let it, you know, fall. And you can start to see, you know, and once again, this is the flavors. You know, sometimes I get excited and I want to put too much ingredients. I try to only do like 3 or so ingredients, and just as a little nice touch, we're going to put some of these flowers on here. Just because they're right by the door and I saw them this morning and I thought, you know what? I want to put these on here.
This looks so fantastic. And not only does it have, like you said, the fat and the carb and the sugars of the fruits, but also has the superfood of the turmeric.
Yeah, yeah. So, and there's all kinds of things like, you know, if I had, last night, if I would have chilled some coconut, some full fat coconut, I could have made some coconut whipped cream and put that on top of it. There's all kinds of things you can do. Like I said, it's a vehicle for nutrients.
Totally.
And also, you'll taste in here the oats themselves. It's a whole different ball game than buying Quaker oats or something. Yeah, it's not even the same thing. There you go.
This looks amazing.
Simple, colorful.
Totally colorful. Nasturtium flowers.
Nasturtium flower. And once again, I didn't want to put too much stuff in there where you couldn't taste the oats because I wanted...
It's fantastic. And I love like chewy things, so that apricot.
These oats, they're like almost a little nutty. And when you cook them like this, when you're not overly cooking them, they still have a little, they're toothsome. they're twosome, you know?
Totally. But you have to always share with the camera lady.
Let's go.
So you did a good job of thinking about camera lady. There you go. Well, thank you so much. Great video. I'm going to put it into 3 parts. The garden, the tea, and the food.
Sweet.
So down in the description below, there's going to be all 3 parts. Check out Aaron Chamberlin's restaurants in town, St. Francis and the Phoenix Public Market Cafe. And your website again?
ChefAaronChamberlin.com.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I learned so much with these videos.
Good. Thank you.
And I get some delicious food.
Yep.